Welcome to the Black Belt Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Quentin Hafner, licensed therapist, thought leading expert for men, and the creator of the Black Belt Husband System. This podcast exists for one reason: to train men to win in the one relationship that matters most, their marriage. If your relationship feels distant, if you're walking on eggshells, if nothing you've tried is working, you're not a failure, you just don't have the right blueprint. Inside this podcast, you'll learn the mindsets, tools, and frameworks to lead your home with strength, create peace in your marriage, and win back your wife's admiration and desire. Black Belt Husband is the step-by-step path to reclaim your power and transform your relationship. Let's get started. Today is a solo podcast. I want to share some ideas on criticism, complaints, shame, and how to think about all of that in relationships, and what is the healthy masculine response to being in a relationship where somebody has a certain amount of criticism or discontent or complaints that they want to share with you as their partner. Okay, so what happens a lot in relationships, a lot of guys are what I'm going to call shame prone. And so if you've been listening to me for a little while, you've heard me use that term before. And being shame prone means that you are predisposed to having strong, shameful reactions or responses to someone criticizing you. And so just to do a little bit of like an overview and a recap of shame, shame is this sense of, it's when we feel like we are total failures. It's what we feel like. If you've ever had that sense of like being with somebody and you feel this sense of like, I'm not good enough, or nothing I ever do is going to be enough for you. You feel like you're failing. You feel like you never get it right. That's all shame. Okay. Those are all feelings of shame. And shame is it's a very heavy emotion. It's very debilitating. And so if you're listening to this and you've struggled with feeling shame, I just want you to know my heart is with you. Shame is super painful. It's a emotion and a physiological response and reaction that typically comes from our childhood, often growing up in a household where there was a critical parent. We learn how to respond to events in life as an adult with lots of shameful feelings and shameful reactions. Okay, so the way where this becomes a challenge and a problem inside relationships is that naturally in a relationship, we have to be able to share with one another certain things that we might not like in the relationship. We have to be able to have a certain freedom and a certain space to be able to share discontents. This is what it means to be in a healthy relationship. If I'm not happy with anything with my wife and I's relationship, I have to be able to have a certain freedom and to be able to approach her, to be able to say, hey, I wish this was different, or hey, can we work on this, or hey, can we make this happen because this would mean a lot to me? Can we make this change? I don't like the way this goes. Can we do it differently? In a healthy relationship, we have to have that ability to approach our partners and talk about things that may not work well for us, or that we're not happy with, or that we're not content with. Okay, so just for the sake of this conversation here, we're going to call those complaints. Okay. So how do I express a complaint in a relationship if somebody is super shame prone? What do I do? How do I tell this person something that I'm not happy with if they are going to have a strong, shameful reaction? And what I see a lot coming what I see a lot of guys struggling with is that if their partners approach them and express things that aren't working well in the relationship for them, there's this really big, shameful reaction. And I like to use this analogy to kind of express what this feels like and looks like in a relationship. So it would be like, if my wife made dinner for us one night and she made Mexican food, and in making the Mexican food, I eat it, and she says, "Well, how did you like it?" And I say, "Well, you know what? It was good, but it's actually a little bit too spicy for me. I'm not a real big spice person, and I would like it better if it wasn't as spicy." And then my wife goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. Nothing I do is ever good enough. You're always complaining. You're always upset. You always have something negative to say. And nothing I ever do is right." And it's like, whoa, where did that reaction come from? Because that's not what I'm feeling at all. I'm just trying to tell you that I don't like it. I don't like the food that's spicy. Now, if I was in a relationship with my wife where I was continually criticizing her, okay, maybe there's some validity to that. That's another podcast topic. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this essence of needing to have the freedom in a relationship to express things that we're not happy with. I don't like the way our sex works. I don't like the way our parenting works. I don't like the way that we're spending money. I don't like the way that we're saving money. I don't like the furniture in our house. I don't like the Mexican food. Can we have the freedom to express complaints? And can us as men, can we be strong enough, men, to not collapse in shame when our wives want to express complaints? Knowing that the expression of complaints is a necessity to have a healthy relationship, because the expression of complaints is part of the feedback loop. If something's not working, I need to express it, and I need you to internalize it. I need that process to be reciprocated, because that is the feedback loop in relationships where we can make things better that aren't working for us. If as men we collapse into shame, well, we stop the feedback loop. We can't improve anything. Okay. And then a lot of guys, they'll be so susceptible to shame that it's like, if I make my wife Mexican food and she says, "You know what, it's too spicy for me and I don't like it," a lot of guys are so crushed by that they say, "Oh, you know what? I'm never going to cook for you ever again. As a matter of fact, you can cook from now on." And it's like, whoa. The response is not proportionate to the situation. The punishment doesn't match the crime. And that's how we know that somebody has collapsed under this tidal wave of shame. And as men, okay, and I'm speaking to men in this podcast, although women, I love that women listen to it, but I'm really just talking to guys. And as guys, when we collapse under shame, that scares our partners. And it scares them because we are stunting the feedback process for relationships. We're basically communicating to our wives, there is no feedback loop. There is no ability to make corrective, positive changes. If I collapse under shame every time there's a complaint, I'm negating the feedback loop. How do I express to you something that I want to be improved? How do I make the situation better? You're telling me through your shameful and shut down reaction that process has foreclosed. And that's going to scare me. So there's really a call to leadership. There's really a call for men to step into their power and just say, you know what? Tell me you don't like the Mexican food that I made. Tell me I'm a horrible cook. It's okay. I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough. I'm durable enough. I'm strong enough as a masculine man to receive your complaints. Tell me about your complaints. It's not going to collapse me into this tidal wave of shame where I'm going to shut down and become angry towards you and to be, reciprocal with my in from like a rage filled standpoint, because that's what happens a lot with guys. In that shameful place, they become enraged. I don't want to do that. I want to be durable. I want to be a healthy masculine man. I'm strong enough. I'm durable enough. Give me your complaints. Give me your criticism. Tell me that you don't like our sex life. Tell me that you don't like our parenting. Tell me that I'm not being a good husband and that I'm not being attentive. Tell me that I screwed up the Mexican food and I made it too spicy. I'm strong enough. And I'm going to pride myself in being durable enough to withstand that complaint. Because if we're not durable, the opposite of being durable is being fragile. And if I can't receive the complaint, then I'm fragile. And that means the relationship is fragile. And if I'm fragile, I'm communicating to you that the relationship is fragile, and that's going to scare your partner. You're going to activate her nervous system. She's not going to feel like the relationship is stable, reliable, dependable. And then in her own reactions, it's going to start to even get more wobbly. Okay, so let's be thoughtful about having the punishment match the crime. Sometimes I like to put it in ratios. And on a scale of like 0 to 100. So if my wife says, hey, this Mexican food is too spicy, I don't like it. To me, that's a 10% complaint. But if I collapse into shame and I go to this place of, oh my gosh, you're always unhappy. I can't do anything right for you. You're never satisfied. That reaction is a 90%. Because basically what I'm doing is I'm catastrophizing a situation. So she's giving me a 10% complaint and I'm giving her a 90% reaction in return. That's not durability. That's not masculine durability. That's being fragile. And we can't be fragile men if we want to have successful relationships, if we want to be successful dads, if we want to have successful businesses and be successful leaders. We have to be durable. We have to be able to say, give me your complaint. It's not going to scare me. I'm not going to run away from it. I'm not going to be antagonistic towards it. I'm not going to turn it around on you. Give me your complaint. I'm strong enough to handle your complaint. I'm going to take that complaint in and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me that you didn't like the Mexican food. It is a little bit spicy, isn't it? Okay, cool. Next time I know you like it less spicy. Maybe I'll make a little side thing for me that's more spicy, and I'll make a little side thing for you that's less spicy. We'll come up with a great win-win solution. But if you don't like the Mexican food, and I just love using this analogy because it's such a real life possibility. If you don't like the Mexican food that's spicy, that's okay. That's not you. That's not synonymous with me being a bad person or being a failure or being worthless. But men, a lot of times our response to situations like that, you would think that your wife was telling you that you're worthless, and she's not. Okay, so this is a call to everybody listening that in order for us to be successful in relationships and for us to have that masculine durability, we need to receive complaints without collapsing into shame. It's like, give me your complaints, bring it on. I'm not scared of it. I'm not fragile. Tell me I did it wrong. Tell me I screwed up. Tell me I need to do it better this way. I'm going to receive your feedback. Okay. So if this resonates with you, okay, if this is resonating with you and you think that you would like to learn more about this, okay, shoot me a message. Okay, because there's lots of tools and things that we can do to improve this part of our lives. And if this resonates with you, it means that you probably grew up in an environment where you had an overly critical parent and you learned at a really early age to be very susceptible to shame. That's not your fault, but you are an adult and now you have to be responsible for making the corrective action or taking the corrective steps to make it better. That is your responsibility at this point. Okay. So if you struggle with this, don't beat yourself up. I want to just try to illuminate something for you and reach out to me if you want to learn more about how to improve this area of your life so it doesn't end up in these really bad, sticky situations. Okay, cheers. Thanks for tuning in to the Black Belt Husband podcast. If today's episode gave you a new insight or a challenge to raise your standard, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another man who's ready to lead stronger at home. Your marriage doesn't change by accident. It changes because you show up leading different. Keep going, and I'll see you inside the next episode.